Japanese literature is one of the major bodies of Oriental literature. It is less voluminous than Chinese literature, but comparable to Arabic, Persian, and Indian literature. It covers the period from the 5th century AD to the present. Poems and odes to the gods were composed in the early Japanese language before the art of writing was known in Japan. Only fragments of this literature have survived. During the first centuries of writing in Japan, the spoken language and written language were identical. But with the studies of Chinese literature, literary work began to be composed almost exclusively in Chinese. There soon grew differences between colloquial Japanese and the literary idioms. The addition of Chinese words into the Japanese language increased rapidly. The written language, therefore, consists mainly of characters borrowed from the Chinese, where each character represents an idea. To read and write, the student must learn thousands of separate characters. But there now exists in Japan a basic alphabet of only 47 characters, katakana. Learning in Japan was confined to the court circles before 1200 AD. From 1400 to 1500 AD, the military came into power, and education was denied to everyone except the priests. In 1600 AD, the modern period of general culture began. The people responded enthusiastically to the policy of general education. Reading now became a popular pastime. It is a remarkable fact that a large proportion of the literary works in Japan were written by women. The cultivation of the native tongue was left to the ladies of the court, and these ladies performed the task nobly. The earliest Japanese literary work is the Kojiki. It relates the creation of the world, describes the gods and goddesses of the mythological period, and contains facts about the earliest history of Japan. The next important creative work was the Nihonji. It tells of the early history of Japan in poetry and shows the profound influence of the Chinese. These two books are the oldest in the language. The Japanese are intensely proud of their history and take great care in keeping and preserving records of their literary works. In conclusion, the Japanese literature has a rich and unique context compared to other literatures in the world.
Introduction to Kuniumi! Hey, Philip!
Hey, JB!
Philip, I need your help.
What is it, JB?
I have a class assignment about Kuniumi in Lit 103. Do you know what is Kuniumi?
Oh, Kuniumi. I know that. That is a Japanese myth about the creation of Japan.
Really? What is it all about?
I already told you. The creation of Japan.
Oh, really? Tell me more about it.
Oh, it is the traditional and legendary history of the emergence of the Japanese archipelago as narrated firsthand in the Kojiki and Nihon Shoki.
Kojiki? Nihon Shoki? Is that delicious?
No, you silly. It is one of the oldest surviving books of Japan that talks about Japanese mythology.
That hurt! But how did the Japanese create Japan?
According to the legend, after the creation of heaven and earth, the gods Izanagi and Izanami were given the task of forming a series of islands that would become what is now Japan.
Ah, very interesting. But can you explain it a little more?
Yes, but I don't really need to explain more. Let's just watch this video that we made using clays and a DSLR camera, made by your friendly neighborhood 3 Best 2.
Question number 1. What is the significance of Kuniumi and why is it part of Lit 103?
Well, if we will trace back history, the Japanese Empire was actually derived as the land of the from the land of the rising sun. It's Japan, and its emperor was believed to be a descendant of Amaterasu, the sun goddess of Japan. And Amaterasu actually came from Izanami and Izanagi, and it is a part of Kuniumi, of the story we are talking about right now. So it's really significant.
What you're saying is that Kuniumi is significant because of its origin, which relates to today's times, like their emperor being descendants from God. So, is that what you're saying?
Yes, it's very important to know where they are getting from. For example, we judge them right away. Why do they believe their emperor is a god? This is just a human being. Now we know why. Because of Kuniumi, we can now finally understand why they value mirror, spear, the naginata. Why do they appreciate those kind of things? And it's very important to really know where they are coming from.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes! What is the significance of Kuniumi in today's recent times?
Well, we know the Japanese for having very out of this world imaginations, and this story depicts such imagination. One such example is when Izanagi and Izanami put the spear in the water and an island rose where they live. After they have settled the island, they were tasked by the gods to mate in order to create other islands. So, how do you make islands out of mating?
Yeah, where did they get that idea?
Yes. So, you see how out of this world that is. So that's how we can learn more about Japanese cultures and how they think.
So, why do you think do they have such different ideologies from the rest of the world?
Well, it was said back in their history that one emperor or shogun deprived them from their freedoms of speech, deprived them from writing freely, and after such period, they were very free, and for that they are very known for their, and so because of that they were able to think very out of this world, very uniquely.
Indirect.
Yes.
So what you're saying, we can learn from their ideologies? Is that what you're saying? Like from maybe we can learn from their past and how they think, like from their writings, from their literature. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, we can pretty much learn about them more with their literature because it reflects how their imagination or way of life is very different from ours. We should not judge them for how different they are because that's the way it is, and we should freely accept it, and that's how we can learn much from the story to the recent times.
Thank you very much. Cut, cut.
Wala.
Oh, Amaterasu.
Game.
Cut, cut.
Wala.
Oh, Amaterasu.
Game. Go.
So parang ganyan.
Okay.
Okay, basta baka tutuloy. Okay, game na. Oh, game.
Teka, wait.